no more questions.
Great talk, thank you. You mentioned hybridization, also perhaps as driver of speciation.
Yes.
And that's, you presented a lot of facts, but then a policymaker will ask you, is it good or bad?
Yeah.
So what would your opinion be? When is hybridization good and when is it bad? Because it's not the general rule.
This is the question we got from one of the reviewers in this paper. How your
Wasn't
findings,
me.
how your findings can be incorporated into regulations into different European countries. What to do with that, you know? And saying frankly, I'm not sure. Generally, we think hybrids is the worst thing which may happen. But probably now it's not a good thing. In the past, it takes many years, like in the evolution, thousands of years, these hybrids really greatly improve the gene pool of the species. But now, I'm afraid, they may destroy the species. Not the jackal because it's common, but we have to do something with them. No? Yes?
Can I just add to your last question when you said what should we do with hybrids in the case of jackal? I don't know what you think, guys, but I don't think we can do anything specifically because of the, I mean, with the wolves and the monitoring standards we have, that's, let's say, easy, but with jackal and with the number, I mean, they are so cautious, they're so shy, you don't, in most of the areas, at least in the northern and western areas. Here it's different, maybe, but how would you do that? So, like the practical thing, I would not know how to do that.
Okay.
That's just my impression.
Yeah, there is also the problem that even if we want to shoot them, unless they are completely different morphologically, you know. But in Poland we have a law that golden jackal is a hunting species, you know. And the law came into life in 2012 when we had less than 20 jackals. But in the hunting bag, they mark, this year you may kill almost 1,300 jackals.
Yeah.
People are asking, where are they? But it was probably a trick. The previous government was awful. A trick for hunters to kill wolves, you know, because it's impossible. If you are not familiar with the animal, you don't really know if it's a fox, a jackal, or wolf, you know. So it's hard to say now what we should do. Yes?
So, just on the hybridization issue, there was this interesting paper that came out a couple of years, no, maybe last year, looking at, and I'm not a geneticist, so I just need to concentrate to say this properly. So, looking at genes that are under selection from wolves into free-ranging dogs.
Yeah, I did it.
Huh? You did?
I probably did it.
Oh, okay. But and vice versa in wolves from dogs, right?
Yes.
And there was these genes that were under selection that are associated with glutamate receptors in the brain, which are linked to learning and memory. And the idea is that actually wolves are somehow benefiting from some genes that are coming through free-ranging dog populations because they're allowing them to be more flexible, behaviorally flexible, in this kind of changing environment, like in this anthropogenic changing environment. So, and this goes in the direction of sort of saying, yeah, hybridization is not necessarily all bad. There can be some sort of effects that are actually helping, in a kind of I've passed the term, helping the wild species to adapt to a kind of an anthropogenic world. So, I don't, just my 2 cents. I'm not a geneticist and I don't do wildlife management, but I found that really interesting.
But generally, dogs are profiting more than wolves.
Yes, exactly. And the interesting thing there was, and this links to the jackal olfaction thing, was that the genes under selection from the wolves in the free-ranging dogs were genes linked to olfaction, so olfactory abilities. So I think, I mean, well, I don't know, it seems that there can be some...
There was a couple of papers on this subject,
beneficial.
so we don't know really how we should react in some cases.
Very interesting study. Thank you. By looking at the map that you showed on hybridization, most of the cases of hybridization is, as you mentioned, associated with range expansion, but it's in the other range leading to Asia, to the the wolf and jackal, both and other feral dogs, they are all found. And so would this be a cleansing, a genetic cleansing, where in nature through time the hybrids get removed from the system, where only in the recent expansion, like proliferation of the species into new environments, leading to new contacts, but through time it will get cleansed through selection.
Yes, it's highly possible. Yeah, because all these hybrids, when you look carefully, they were in the front.
Exactly, yeah.
Of course, in the case of jackals, there's no sex bias dispersal, you know. We know from genetics that the males or females, they move forward at long distances, even together. So it somehow prevents the species from interbreeding, you know. But nevertheless it happens, but it's somewhere in the core of distribution. Then these hybrids are diluted.
And in effective population size, very high for jackal.
Yes, yes.
Where these places are very small. So that could lead to occasional hybrids, and that gets sampled in a biased sampling, because the hybrids tend to get shot or tend to get sampled or tend to get reported compared to a feral type.
Yes,
so that also could be a case, right?
Yes. Oh gosh. Tell, you are the Jala.
Oh yeah, just a little more on the hybrids. It's an ethical question, basically. One is, biological, where we talk about benefits on both sides. But the ethical part is that if hybrids are caused because of human actions, early effect, when you're repressing a population by hunting or whatever else, and that is causing hybridization, then I think we should intervene. But if it's a natural process, like in the case of jackals, front coming up and hybridizing, I don't think we should interfere. But that's just
No, this is just the second voice of the same opinion. More voices.
Voices of against hybridization, because following what Jala is just saying, we can get to a point that the jackal will make reproduction twice a year, right? Or like the wolves have a reproduction, and we are jeopardizing the species itself. And hybridization, in one point, is totally human anthropogenic. Shall we leave the dogs for the dogs in lover to protect all the dogs? It's the same as if we change to the wildcat. The wildcat is even more jeopardized in the moment that it's practically gone. Is this what we want? To create a species is like now creating chickens without feathers to eat it and to have less work. So I think hybridization is totally outside of the ethical issue of a species itself.
But we need good genetics to check.
Okay. But first
we cannot start shooting first and then to look at the samples genetically.
But not looking to the animal love inside, but I think the first step is to make the removal of the stray dogs.
Yes.
For example.
No!
Wolves and
I'm totally against that.
well, so I will ask you, what are you going to do with the cats that eat 30,000 birds all the year?
Yeah, no.
You know, ethically it's very pretty, and I love dogs. But
No. So no, I was just kind of throwing out.
Guys, calm down.
You get a lot of passionate people in the same room, you're going to have some passionate arguments.
Yeah.
No, but the free-ranging dogs, so I think it's really important to think about this before just saying it, because I totally agree that free-ranging dogs can be a really a problem for conservation species and for endangered species, so I'm not denying that at all. But removing all free-ranging dogs, I think we need to think a little bit about it, because the free-ranging dogs are a product of cultural and natural forces that are very linked to, cultural histories of the people where you are, as well as the land that you're in. So things like, for example, the free-ranging dogs in the Himalayas that have adaptations to this living at a high altitude, it mirrors the same that humans have, and it comes from possibly from the wolves that were there, or the ancestors of those wolves. So you have there something which is pretty unique, and it reflects. So just saying that dogs are not part of the ecosystem doesn't work. They have been part of the ecosystem for more than 30,000 years. So just eliminating all the free-ranging dogs.
I give you
I
a fast example. Galapagos Islands. The dogs are destroying the native population.
But we're
But
talking
I'm not
about...
saying that you have to kill them.
No, you can kill them. I don't
You
care.
can-
I'm not a
you
no-kill
can
person.
use them.
No, wait. I'm not a no-kill person. That's not the issue. But removing all of them would be removing a huge chunk of culture and nature, a natural process. So, of course, in certain areas, you have to remove all of them. Remove all the dogs from the island, without doubt. But I think it would be really interesting if we started thinking about free-ranging dogs as part of an ecosystem and reflecting a specific choice by certain humans to have certain dogs like that, rather than just sort of saying they're all, because they're not pet dogs. Do you know what I mean? They're not abandoned dogs. They're dogs that have been living alongside humans and had a role probably.
Yeah, the issue.
But they can be more dangerous.
No. Can I just? I mean, it's a middle ground here.
Yeah.
I think she's got a point. You got a point. The issue is that the densities at which these dogs are sustained today because of human subsidies and the repercussions they have on conservation species. That's where the balance needs to come in. She's not talking about eradicating feral dogs. But in places we need to control their densities to a level where the impacts on conservation species is minimized or eliminated.
My point is that hybridization is bad for the species.
Pardon?
My point of view is that hybridization is bad for the species itself.
But if it's because of its human cause, right?
Yeah. But so we have to remove that anthropogenic cause.
It can also be.
Well,
So I think
what she's
these are
saying is a
really
little point.
interesting ethical discussions, but I think it should be approached from what can we practically achieve. And I think in practice, in reality on the ground, culling or poaching whatever hybrids is extremely tricky because the people implementing will not know what they're dealing with. If only by genetics we can verify. So I think we can have all these discussions, but I think we should come from what can we actually do in reality? How could we really manage them without using animals of the wrong type? And then I think we can follow up with, okay, what is ethically now within this frame of on the ground reality? That's what I would do.
Look, Geraldine, what Nuno is saying is eliminate the cause for hybridization to occur.
Yeah.
And hybridization, you're not removing hybrids because that would require testing and practical problems. But if you remove the cause of hybridization, that is dogs, at such high densities, where your natural populations of natural canines is so low that they have no choice but to hybridize. So that, there are behavioral mechanisms to prevent hybridization. Those get broken down when you don't have a conspecific around. So the Ali effect is what we need to actually address.
Yeah. For example, the hybridization of wolves and jackal are a little bit caused by the impact they do to the wolf. If we dismantle a type of wolf, they are much more prone for making a hybridization with jackal. Right? If we keep the wolf structure as it is and stable, right? But again, it's not a anthropogenic factor.
No, but after destroying the wolf pack, they could be dangerous to humans as well. And people don't know that.
The wolf dog hybrids are far more dangerous than wolves.
How do you know that?
So you had
How do you
problems
know that?
with.
Do you have data on that?
Yeah.
Because that's something I'm really interested in. Where is the data on that?
I have that, I'll share
That's
that.
data.
That's great. Where?
Iran
Is it
and
published?
places like that, yeah.
India.
But published?
India.
Some of it is published, I'll share
Oh,
that.
then please send it, because this is something that we're asked all the time in Italy, but I couldn't find any information about really the change in behavior of hybrids.
No, the thing is they're less afraid of humans,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
and the hybrids. Not like
So,
wolves.
but there's
The wolves-
data on that?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
please send it to me.
Sure.
Because
But
I've been
not
looking for
always.
it and
Huh?
haven't
Not
found it.
always.
Not always.
Sometimes they don't, they behave like wild rabbits.
Because in Italy, the only study that was carried out, the hybrids just behave
Sometimes.
exactly the same like the wild canids. They're like
The hybridization is done on purpose and kept as pets.
on?
As kept as pets, and then released off.
Get us pets.
Pets, and then released, because you know they're unmanageable, you release them. And
Yeah,
they
but if
turn out to
they-
be very dangerous.
Because people don't
Yeah,
care.
but then they have the experience of being with a human, right?
Yes.
Which would make even a full wolf very dangerous, because they lose the fear of the human. So, I mean, it's kind of the experience rather than the actual hybridization.
Arguable. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, most of the discussion regarding hybridization issue has been discussed now, but I must say that I support Uno and Jala's positions.
Diplomatic answer.
No,
Okay.
but it's true. So I will rather ask about these olfactory abilities in jackals. Those limo dogs. I also read it about this, but I couldn't find a scientific study to prove that. So I believe that this is more a kind of advertisement for the breed, and especially because the program of Solino dogs should be fed. So it has to be some advantages, of course. Even if there is no difference in ability, I believe that dogs are, or wolves are of the same, they have the same capability for searching explosives and narcotics and so on. But I found also some reasoning behind that, hybrid jackals or Solino dogs are easier to maintain and they're more easily to maintain in a harsh environment, and they are also sensitive to different issues and so on. So, well, but if you have any study that is confirming this olfactory super ability for Solino dogs, I would be very
You know that they hide their results, you know.
So it is advertisement
Sending
for
like this, you
Solino
know.
dogs.
But actually, just a short comment, there's actually no study on that. I support that, but there is quite a few now critics on it, saying and discussing that this is not happening, that they're not better. So there's more support now afterwards that it's just like adopted, like dog, or maybe better, some are worse, some are better, so that's, but there's no study on it, so I support that more critics about this.
I know that the Russian wanted Sunimov dog to be accepted as a new breed by the International Criminological Society, that it has been rejected, so they probably recently applied for its acceptance by the Russian Criminological Society. So you cannot say what's going on.
That the sniffing power is overestimated for these dogs.
So
But there are
would this
breeds
be
that they
a
have
hybridization pattern?
bloodhounds or
Jackal
something like
is
that.
like
Great for
interesting.
abilities.
Has anybody modeled the recent identification cycles
No,
to understand?
No, but I think that there are some projects dealing with that, you know, going back to these climatic changes to Pleistocene and looking how it would be.
Yeah. Because
Historically.
Yeah, and because there's an interesting conservation implication there, because in the Eurasia, there's only one species of jackal, but if you look into Africa, there's multiple species, jackals and wolves in a very restricted species. So, like what we learned from jackal through, like climatic modeling over the past 5 Pleistocene to now, might tell us something about jackal distribution as well as the fate of some of the African jackals and the Canis in the Andes, for example,
Yes.
where the ranges are very narrow and the limit of expansion is quite limited.
Yeah, and these Africans don't forget that they belong to completely different genus. You know, it has been proved that they are not real jackals.
Just one note for the background of the jackals in Europe. jackals have been retested in Bulgaria, for example, not finding any reliable fossil, but the fossils found in Greece have not been rechecked. Were considered as jackals dating back to the Mesolithic.
And in the islands, no?
And no, it was Delphi, it was Attica, and more recently there have been some more findings in Mani, in the Peloponnese. So no one has
No, I
It's
think
like this
parts
for-
of look at this.
What?
I mean, he was quite detailed, you know, with the example. Also on the island of Spar, it was supposed that there were some findings, but I don't remember well. Huh? So
And
I
also
cannot quote it.
the condition about the early maps from 19th century and 20th century, considering the Greek part, are very, very far from reality. So they show patchy distribution, while it was continuous. Loads of them everywhere. Too many of them.
Ah, okay. Good to know. Good to know. So perhaps genetics is more reliable than written sources.
So genetics show that there was something earlier,
Yes.
but also there's loads of small pieces of information everywhere. No one had put it together so far, but indicate the species was much more common than many other country scholars thought here in Greece.
No, great. Great to hear.
Καλό.